Grow Heads Podcast at Loud Bank.
HPG. What's up, everybody? It's your man AC with the Loud Bank, and you just tuned in to the Grow Heads Podcast. I got my man Taylor with HPG in the house.
What up, AC? How we doing? I'm good.
How was your day?
Blessings.
Yes.
Planting seeds like it always, you know.
Okay. That's good to hear. Hey, so tonight we got a special show. We got a former radio personality with 100.3 The Beat, and a current radio personality at Foxy 106.9. We got the media legend, veteran in the house, Miss Tammie Holland. Thank you so much for being in the show tonight.
Man, thank you very much. That was a very nice introduction. That was a cool introduction.
Well, thank you.
Give me one too. You gave Taylor some more. Give me one, Taylor.
Wow.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Thanks. It's good to see you both. It's so good to see you.
Welcome to the Grow Heads Podcast.
And thank
also
you.
the Loud Bank.
Thank you. This is a really cool environment. I need to come back in the daytime so that I can spend a little bit more time here. I think I can learn a lot from you.
Oh man, that's a compliment and a half. I'm thinking the same.
All right, well, cool. Well, then let's exchange.
For sure.
Yes, let's do it. Yeah.
So, first of all, how was your day?
My day has been very, very interesting. My day began this morning at about 4 a.m. As you mentioned, I have a new job. I'm working with a brand new radio station, Foxy 106.9, and I got started pretty early this morning on the radio. This has been my first week back on the air after having not worked in radio since 2017. So I'm still trying to get my body acclimated. I'm still trying to get used to my schedule, and it's more than a notion.
Okay.
And in addition to also doing the radio station, I also have a podcast, and my podcast, of course, is powered by the mighty law firm of Brown and Crouppen. And they today, shout outs, right? They today, that's what's up, that's right. They, of course, today had their holiday party. And their holiday party was a 1980s themed party. So, everybody was amped. So I'm still kind of like, I'm still kind of up. But as soon as I leave here, I'm going to be up under the bed, okay?
I thought you was going to hit another party. Friday
no.
Is it always busy for the holidays? Or?
Well, you know what? It has been, but my life has been really different. I was diagnosed with a stage 4 colon cancer in 2001. And so my life kind of like just stopped, right? And so I've just been fighting cancer since then. So, sometimes I'm up and I'm feeling real good, and then sometimes, I gotta lay back and nurture my body a little bit. And it is what it is, right?
It is what it is, and
Right.
and I gotta tell you, I wouldn't be able to tell if you didn't say a word. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. I am a God
Hang
girl.
in there.
Thank you. I'm a God girl. So when people tell me that makes me feel really good, because I feel like it's the reflection of God in me, right? And that makes me very, very proud. So thanks.
Good job.
Good job, Tam. Good job, girl.
So, I know you say you were diagnosed with cancer, and
Yeah.
would you say you would, like you said, you had to sit back? Would you use any type of therapy or medication or?
Yeah. When I was diagnosed, so it was pretty heavy for me. When I was diagnosed, straight up, you all, I had no idea that I was sick, and that I was as sick as I was. When I was diagnosed, the cancer had spread to my liver, my lungs, my lymph nodes. I have since then had the cancer removed from my colon. I had the cancer removed from my liver, so I had, I didn't pay attention in anatomy and physiology in high school.
Right.
I was like, I had no idea. They were like, we're gonna remove the left lobe of your liver. We're gonna cut off a part of the right. And I'm like, well, am I gonna have to get a transplant? They're like, no, the liver rejuvenates itself. Dude, I did not know that. I didn't know that, right? Yeah, cheers.
I didn't know
You see that?
That's cool.
Learning things today, right? Because I didn't know either. So I deal with that. So I got the liver and everything under control, and so now I'm just dealing with the lung. And so this lung thing is kind of new for me. So in the process of all of this, cannabis for me was very much, it helped me with my appetite, and it helped me also with my mental, because, you know, sometimes I needed to coast a little bit, and sometimes I needed an opportunity to just kind of like, because I'm amped all the time anyway. I'm a very up person, and so what cannabis did for me, it just kind of like leveled me off. It just kind of leveled me off. I had a buddy. She's my cancer buddy, and she would go with me to the doctor, and we kind of joked about this the other day. I said, you know what, I give thanks to God for you, because there were so many times that, you know, she would pick me up and she would take me to all of my doctor's appointments. She would take me to my chemo appointments, but I would get so stoned before she would pick me up, right? I'm like, this is like, I've never really spoken publicly about this, but I would get so stoned, and I think it was like maybe a mental defense thing, because I didn't feel like, it's like I wanted to know, but then I didn't want to know. And so I would kind of zone out, and I would get to that doctor's appointment. You don't remember because you're too young, but you remember Charlie Brown, right? Charlie Brown had a school teacher, and Charlie Brown's school teacher sounded like on wonk, 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 wonk. That's how that doctor would sound to me. And so after we would leave out the appointment, I'd be like, all right, what'd he say?
Translation, please.
Yeah, translation,
So it was
please.
very therapeutic, you would say.
Yeah, pretty much so, right?
Definitely, and I would say it's organic. Would you say it's like an organic medicine, or how would you?
Well,
And what was your first encounter, if you mind me asking?
with cannabis?
Yeah, with cannabis.
So my father always smoked. My father was a jazz musician.
Okay.
And so cannabis was always a part of our lives, and so I grew up around cannabis, and obviously back then, and he's passing to you. Back then, as a little girl, it was like, and as a kid, it was like, you know, you don't. That's your daddy's. That's my daddy's thing. You don't mess with his stash. You know, you don't. It's there and it's around, but you pretend that you don't see it. And so it's just kind of a taboo kind of a thing.
Right.
And then moving into young adulthood, of course, obviously, there was not legislation and that marijuana was not legal, right? Or the usage thereof was not legal. So it was still very much taboo. And then me, of course, being in the public eye, there would be no way that I would have ever, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, have had a sit down where I would be able to have a conversation like this, because I would have assumed that it would have been very negative for my career. But we all see we all see and we understand the benefits of cannabis, and we all, and it's legal, right? But growing up, yes, it was still very much taboo, right? You get that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And there's still a lot of stigma.
Oh, it still is.
Yeah, but I'm glad we got people like you that speak out and don't mind speak out and not afraid to speak out.
We appreciate you coming in.
But I have to. So now I'm dealing with this thing. I'm trying to deal with this lung cancer, right? And so now I'm not smoking anymore. So now I'm having to figure out a new way to, because I still, my doctors and I have talked about it. There are tinctures that I could use, or maybe
Have you heard of Rick Simpson oil?
Use Rick Simpson oil. And what's the interesting thing about Rick Simpson oil is that I could never strike a balance with Rick Simpson oil. Like I felt like it was like too strong or too heavy for me.
Right.
And
That's a nighttime thing.
And
you want it for strong as you can get it, and just go ahead and pass out.
I didn't mean to cut you guys off.
Me neither. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I remember we were just talking about colon cancer and ingredients in food that we ingest. You know.
Yep.
And what was that ingredient, AC?
It is the sodium nitrate.
Yeah, sodium nitrate. And you want to break down and tell them what all it does and why they use it?
I just looked at a special documentary on meats that we eat. So I don't eat beef or pork, but I don't know why it caught my eye. It was on YouTube, and they were showing how the meat goes down the assembly line, and they got this machine with like 10 needles. And the needles go in the meat, and then they inject the sodium nitrate, which makes it pink, gives it the flavor,
Kills
it kills the bacteria and stuff like that. But then once you cook and ingest that meat, the protein of the meat and the sodium nitrate in your digestive system has been creating colon cancer in people.
And what is this like? Deli foods and you name it.
It's in
Hot
everything.
dogs.
So I'm going through the
Pizza
cabinet.
rolls.
I'm like, it's sodium nitrate in the hot dogs, the lunch meat, the Vienna sausages, the chicken nuggets, and I'm thinking.
Can I tell you something? I had like an ultimate addiction to bacon. Like
Is it
I was a huge bacon eater and bacon lover, and I loved a hot dog.
Bacon is the love. Oh, I love
Yeah,
the most.
I used to say bacon is from God. You put bacon in some bacon, make everything taste good.
It's the only meat
Yeah.
that make other meats taste good.
Yeah, but I would say, you know, I've racked my brain over and over again, you know, trying to think like, what could I have done differently, and what did I do? And I strongly believe that what we eat and what we ingest into our bodies right now, it makes the ultimate difference.
It does.
Yeah.
And things affect people differently, you know, so
Yeah.
it may affect one person different than it affects another person. But somebody was telling me that their grandparents used to wash all the meat, from the bologna sandwiches to the bacon, rinse it all off, and then cow patty dry to absorb all that salt.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
And so at the least you could do that to kind of get some of it out.
And what did they tell you? I remember what was they said it in moderation. What was it? If you eat it, it doesn't really bother you in moderation. But everybody's different.
Everybody's different, yeah.
When it comes down to
I
metabolism.
mean, yeah, they did some studies, and some kids are eating a lot of hot dogs and stuff like that, and they noticed the ones that don't eat hot dogs, you know, they're a little bit more healthier. And so there's been people lobbying against these sodium nitrates and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
40 and
but you got these big
Yes.
companies that you know, when you start messing with their bottom line, that's a problem.
oh,
Yeah.
most definitely.
Yeah, it's very big business, and keeping us sick in so many instances is very much big business, and that's very sad. You know, you were talking about the older generation and their eating habits. My grandmother lived until she was 99 years old. And I would imagine that she ate everything moving, man. She did. She ate everything moving. But I think that the differences between them and us is that they did a lot of cooking, and they didn't mess with a lot of processed foods, right? Processed foods are so terrible for us, right?
The meats they ate was fresh meats.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Or just fresh produce from the ground.
Yep.
But they've been
Fresh produce, yep, no doubt. Hey, so what is it like being at the station, and you know, and I mean, it gives you a whole nother feel when you walk in there and you just get behind the, you know, in the studio, and everybody's got the good personality. I mean, you better turn one on if you don't have one anyway.
I don't think there's anybody who's a part of that staff at Foxy 106.9 who is not a dynamic or has a magnetic or does not have a magnetic personality.
Really?
Yeah. I tell you how it makes me feel. That was what you asked me. It makes me feel very good. When I left radio in 2017, I was obviously working in a mainstream environment. And within that environment, as an African-American woman, there were so many different situations and things that happened to me that made me really not like radio so much. And I wasn't really interested in running back to that situation. I didn't want to be underpaid. I didn't want to be discounted. I didn't want to be ignored. I didn't want to be given work that was less or beneath me. I wanted the freedom to be able to create and to be who I have worked very hard to be. I've worked very hard to be Tammie Holland, right? So walking into Foxy 106.9 right now gives me a great sense of pride because it's owned by a beautiful black man, right? And it makes me feel good that I can go in and work with him, and together, right? The two of us and an entire station, you know, there's some beautiful people all working together, that we can do a lot of good in the neighborhood. These mainstream radio stations, and I don't want to dog anybody. That's never my aim. But what I really appreciate is the fact that you know, we have real live on-air personalities. You know, radio has changed so much, you know, because people have choices. And so in defense of radio, radio has had to streamline a lot over the past, 10, 15 years, because, you know, this whole component of less is more is a very real thing, right? Because the choices that people have make it very difficult for radio to thrive, right? Because you get in your car, you may rock with an aux cord, or you've got satellite radio. People choose so many different ways to get their music, and terrestrial radio is sometimes for a lot of people an afterthought. Like my daughter, her like radio, like she never really, I mean, outside of growing up listening to me, but when we disconnected from radio, that was not a priority for her, or to seek out radio in that respect.
Right.
So it feels good that I might be able to be a part of a movement in St. Louis that would bring radio back. I think having an opportunity to have something that people, especially African Americans in St. Louis, something that they can feel like they have to be a part of leadership, or that it's their voice, right? Because these stations, as I was saying, they're automated, and in their defense, it's because that's cash-strapped situations, but these voices come from outside of our market. They come from outside of St. Louis. But these people that you hear, that it's Tossin Ted, okay? It's Tony Roper. Her people on Roper's Ribs, right there on West Florissant and Goodfellow. I mean, these are our people, and so it feels good that they will be able to speak a language that everybody will understand and know, and that is what drives and makes communities grow. Back in the day when we had radio, back in the day when we were doing our thing, man, I feel like we were just a different people. I really, really do. So I like the idea of being a part of something that could be of improvement to the community.
Nice.
Straight up. And I mean that like 100.
Yeah.
And it's organic, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not behind no screen. It's face to face, or it's verbally. You got 2 ears, you got 1 mouth.
That's right. That's right.
And the personalities are homegrown. They from here. Those
It ain't
names
good.
that we
It's
know.
raw.
Right.
I mean, Charmaine, what his name, Charlemagne, the guy. They not from around here.
Right.
We don't know those people, but
That's right.
Yeah. So we.
Yeah, but
it's
you know
all
the real
homegrown.
JR though, don't you?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
He
and
go way
9
back.
times out of 10, the real JR or the likes thereof understands and knows where you from, and understands and knows St. Louis. And I think we are a different kind of people. We different in St. Louis, right? We are so different. Like, it's like all or nothing. Wouldn't Ellie say we all we got?
We all
You
we
know?
got.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all we got. For sure is each other, and then it's take a village to raise a child. You know what I'm saying?
It does take a village to do a whole lot of things.
For
So I'm
sure.
hoping that we can make a difference.
Yeah, and we come together because we have a lot of talent. I feel like
So
we very,
much.
very segregated.
Yeah.
Because it just be the quick get-overs or just the battles we go with one another, and it don't be purposely, but sometimes that's just how things unravel, and you know what I'm saying. I feel like forgiveness is the biggest part of being grown and overcoming a lot of things and being relentless and moving forward.
Yeah.
And recognizing, because you're gonna go through your journey, and ain't nothing gonna be perfect. So I feel like instead of making an excuse. You know what I'm saying? You just roll with it, and I feel like you the prime example of that. Good. So we got some things we putting together, and I definitely looking forward to you trying to be there around this time next year.
Amen.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Goals.
Get them flowers.
Yeah.
For sure.
Goals. Thank you. Appreciate
So it's
it.
something that just motivates you. What is that? Just like.
That's something that motivates me.
Spirit.
But it's also my daughter.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was diagnosed, the first thing that came to my mind was, damn, what am I gonna, but I can't leave my daughter. I mean, none of us have control, right? We all have, we all have to pass that way, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, whatever I can do you know, within myself, you know, and however I can grasp hold of some spirituality or reconnecting with God so that I can center myself through this fight. You know, let me do that because I want to live for my daughter.
You still got work to do.
I have work to do.
You still got work to do, right? Yeah.
I got work to do, and I have, like, now having this cancer diagnosis has caused me, I tell everybody that I live life on purpose. And so now it's like
Explain it a little bit. Yeah.
living life on purpose means that I'm intentional about the things that I do. Okay,
yeah, right.
like it makes I want to make a difference. I want
seeds.
to, I want my imprint to mean something. You know, I mean, you know, if we're being realist, all right, so I die, right? And so my daughter's generation, okay, like their people, maybe they might remember me, but we're talking next generation removed. Perhaps they won't know who I am. But what my goal is right now is to be able to make moves that could really have a lasting impact on my St. Louis. And generations to come. This St. Louis of mine is a city in which I love very, very much. And so that's what I think about. Truly it is.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Facts. Me and AC getting together, trying to put together curriculum for the youth.
Oh,
Learning how to
wow.
grow tomatoes.
Yes.
Probably gonna do it up at Better Family Life. So.
That would be so awesome.
Definitely, it's coming soon.
And giving a kid, you know what? I think about that. It's like that's like such a satisfying feeling, right? And it teaches children patience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a lovely thing. Yeah. However I can help you in that, let me know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Be happy to have your help, for sure.
You might have to teach me some growing tricks first,
Oh
but
yeah.
you know.
So do you have any house plants at all, or?
So I am very, very sad, and I'm having some mental issues over an air plant that I had, right? And I had this air plant about 4 years, and when I got sick, I wasn't able to water it as much. You know, air plants they're the easiest thing. They're I don't even know how you really can kill it, because all you got to do is just, you know, put in water for 10 minutes maybe once a week, right? But I was sick, and so I would miss a few weeks, and so I've got this dead air plant that's right now underneath the table, and then that's how trifling I am right now. It's been underneath the table for about a week, and I keep walking past it, and it's because mentally I can't throw it away. And I know it's dead, and I know it's gone, but I can't throw it away. So I told my mother, I said, well, I want to throw it over the I'm going to throw it over the back fence. And maybe if I throw it over the back fence, maybe there's something that could catch a root onto something else.
Okay.
I'm one of those.
You
I'm a
look
little
out there
strange.
one day and it's like
And
double in
perhaps I would
size.
I'd look over, feed me, Seymour, and there's something fantastic out there.
Yeah. So what hours you on the air?
So, the morning show is on from 6 until 10.
6 to 10.
And
okay.
that's what I'm saying. I've got to get my body, I got to get on a new schedule. So, next week I'm going to begin rehearsals for a play. I've been cast in a play at the Black Rep. That's a part of that living intentionally and living life on purpose. I don't like regrets. I don't want to have any regrets, and I don't want to sit up one day and say, man, I wish I would have done that, because that's how I spent the first half of my life, functioning from a really odd, scared place. And people would say, but you've achieved so much, and you're so outward, and you're so open, but there would be opportunities that I would pass on because I would be perhaps maybe slightly intimidated, or I would think that, oh, I'm too busy and I can't fit it in. Well, an opportunity came to audition for a production with the Black Rep, and my mother's like, you fighting cancer, you about to start working at this radio station, and now you're trying to be in a play, and the play rehearsals are this is a major production. This is like really major. So rehearsals are like from 10 until 4, like, Tuesday through Saturday. And this is a huge commitment. So I'm up at 4 a.m. I'm at the radio station. I still have to produce and to get a podcast up, with Brown and Crouppen. I have to rehearse for this play, and I gotta be cold with it, right? And I have to be a mother to my daughter. And I have to I won't have a social life for a while, and I'm cool with that.
You gotta go to sleep.
And at some point, I have to go to sleep, right? And I can't smoke pot anymore, right? Yeah, I just discovered something really interesting. So when I got sick the last time, it was a really crazy situation. I literally was like losing my breath, right? I had a lymph node that was malignant, and it had started growing so large that it started pressing against a windpipe. And it had really, at the point when I'd gotten sick, it had gone inside my windpipe and caused a total obstruction. See, I didn't know this. Had I known all of this, y'all would have been freaked out. But I didn't find out about this until the other day. I went to the doctor for the checkup, and he was like, "Yeah, it's a total obstruction." I'm like, "You were kidding me!"
Right.
Really? That was me. That was me. But so I had this ultimate, sickness. But before, they were trying to figure things out, and they told me that I had a little fungus on my lung. And having cancer makes you immune compromised, right? And so there is something called, I'm hoping I'm saying it right, aspergillosis. I think that's how you say it. But it's like it could come from mold off the leaves of marijuana, off of the leaves of cannabis. So because of that, I don't want to do it. I don't want to mess around. I don't want mold in my lungs. Although we probably, I don't want mold in my lungs, and I don't want to compromise my lungs, right? It's really interesting though, because I'm with you guys and you guys are smoking, and the smell doesn't bother me, and it doesn't make me feel uncomfortable. But if you guys are smoking a cigarette right now, I would be out the door. I cannot. The smell of a cigarette. And you know what else just trips me out? The smell of a cigarette and the smell of a cigar. I think that's why I'm single right now. Because all the hotties smoke cigars. All the hotties smoke cigars, and it's very, very social. Like, because you want to go out to a bar, you've got your cigar, you're doing your thing. Well, I can't hang out with you. We can't do that together. I can't have that, it's a toughie. So I got to find a hottie who doesn't smoke a cigar. Definitely not a cigarette, right? Yeah, definitely not a cigarette. Yeah.
So, I want you to clarify something.
Will do.
Were you Emmy nominated before?
Yes, nominated for an
Tell
Emmy.
me all about this.
Yeah, I have so much love and respect for Terry Crouppen. So I have to backtrack and give you my Terry Crouppen story. You got a second?
Okay.
All right. When I got let go from my job in radio in 2017, I got fired on a Friday. Okay. Terry Crouppen and I had always known each other because he advertised on the radio stations, pretty much all the radio stations that I worked on. But he had a vision, and he understood that if he could connect with the people through that little television box or through that radio station, through that newspaper, through those sources, that he could get to the people and be there for them when they really needed help, right? So he was a visionary. So when he called me, he had a vision, but we didn't really get it, and it really didn't start clicking for us until the pandemic. The pandemic, some really powerful things, some really sucky things happened with the pandemic, but some powerful things came out of it because we started doing some really, really unique marketing through social media. So through social media came the birth of three lawyers eating sandwiches, right? And then also This Week with Tammie Holland, that's powered by Brown and Crouppen. It was our way to connect with the people that we hope to connect with. It was my way, of course, of connecting with the African American community with the help of Brown and Crouppen giving me a little push so that I can give my community a little deeper push, right? So through Brown and Crouppen and with Terry, we created these programs. And Terry was nominated for a cartoon, and I had done some consulting, and I'd done some work with him on the cartoon, and I was nominated. I received a nomination for having had worked with him on this project, and I was really, really proud. We didn't win, but the fact that I was nominated, but it was the fact that I was nominated, and that beautiful man that I really, you know, it was a God thing, truly.
Right.
I'm God's girl.
Mm-hmm.
That he lifted me up and at such a time when a radio personality like me, really, that would have been the end of it for me, you know, and I would have been at a call center, you know, trying to get a job, or, you know, trying to figure out my next move, not saying anything about a call center, you know, okay? Honorable thing is a job, okay? And whatever you do is what you do, and I ain't mad at you, right?
And
Nor
I'm
do I
sure it
judge you.
felt so good for you in the back of your mind saying, yeah, they see me. The ones that lay me off or fire me or whatever, or, you know, I'm not just going to the wayside. I'm out here still doing my thing with Brown and Crouppen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know,
Sometimes,
and not at a call center.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I would
Call
have those
customer
thoughts.
service and say, you know, I need to return this coffee maker. Tammie, is that you?
And you know what? And I would have been. Look, I would have been the worst bill collector, the one collector. I would have been the worst. Girl, look, okay. When you got it, you say what, in 2 months? Okay, all right, I'll call you back, okay? That would have been me, right? Okay? Giving away everything. I would have been terrible at that. Terrible.
Oh, that's something. That's something. So, we're not going to hold you all night. Is there anything you'd like to say to the people or let folks know how to get in contact with you through social networks?
I would. I'd like to sing your praises real fast, if I could. The fact that cannabis is legal in the state of Missouri is a wonderful thing. The fact that it has been decriminalized in certain situations makes me feel really good. It breaks my heart thinking about the fact that there are still African American men and women and minorities incarcerated still to this day for even very minor marijuana related offenses. What you all are doing through your conversations, and y'all have a lot of fun, but the presence and you with Loud Bank, it's an education piece. It is an empowerment piece. It's great, okay? It does my heart well. So continue to do what you do in a positive way, because I think that's really, really important. Because we've had so many people who've had such great misfortune and have and still are suffering, and some of them may never ever come up because of some BS that happened with some getting pulled over with some weed in a car. Okay? So, you know, keep doing what you're doing, Taylor. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Keep growing, Taylor.
No doubt.
Yes. Yes.
I would say, guys, send messages. You just gotta listen. And with that being said, I appreciate you coming out
Yeah.
and you dropping knowledge, and you know what I'm saying. It was an honor, and I'm still soaking it all in.
Honors all mine, cousin. Honors all mine. AC was beautiful, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
I appreciate you showing up. So, can anybody follow you on the social
Oh, yes,
networks?
most definitely.
And, hey, you know, make sure you check out the show, the Foxy 106.9.
Yeah, don't put the point in there. You gotta be cool with it. You gotta be just cool with it. You just gotta
Foxy
say
106.9.
Foxy 106.9.
There you go.
Okay, 106.9. Yeah, so follow Foxy 106.9 on Instagram and Facebook. We need some friends. We need some followers, right?
Okay.
And then, of course, you can find me on Instagram at This Week with Tammie on Instagram. You can find me at This Week with Tammie Holland on Facebook. And of course, you know, I never ever want you all to need a lawyer, okay? I never want that to happen to you, okay? But if you did, okay, I want you to reach out to my good people over at Brown and Crouppen, okay?
No doubt.
All twos right here in St. Louis, 222-2222. Follow them on Instagram at GetBC. GetBC, and yeah.
Yeah, I love those
Appreciate
guys,
y'all.
but I
I hope you had a good time.
I had so much fun. Anytime I get to talk. I'm a talker. Anytime I get to talk, and anytime I get to see you,
Oh, thank you, man.
and I'm letting you, and I'm getting ready to go shopping. I'm getting ready to try to figure out how to grow a mushroom or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Hey, so check it out. You can always follow the Loud Bank on Instagram, at the Loud Bank on all social networks, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and all that good stuff. Come by and check us out at the store, 8445 Natural Bridge, right here near Hanley. And take it away, tell me what you got.
If you ain't like to subscribe, I don't know what you're doing. Go ahead and do it. But appreciate you watching if you've been watching. And until next time, Grow Heads Podcast.
Hey.
You got her.